What if I told you that the reason you can't sleep, can't think clearly, and feel quietly anxious the moment you walk through your front door has almost nothing to do with your stress levels, and almost everything to do with what's growing, or more accurately, what's not growing inside your home? Most people don't know this, but while we're buying diffusers, downloading sleep apps, and spending hundreds of dollars on supplements, there are plants that have been doing this work for thousands of years. Plants that ancient healers, monks, and temple builders placed deliberately in spaces of prayer, recovery, and rest, not for decoration, but because they understood something we have almost entirely forgotten: that living plants don't just sit there. They work. They breathe with you. They shift the air, the mood, the very atmosphere of a room in ways that modern science is only now beginning to measure and explain. And today I'm going to show you 20 of them. Plants that have been bringing calm, clarity, and healing energy into human spaces since before recorded history. Plants that cost almost nothing, require almost no care, and can transform your home from a place that drains you into a place that genuinely restores you. Stick around, because number 8 on this list was placed in Japanese meditation gardens for over 1,000 years to slow the mind before prayer, and researchers have now found a measurable neurological reason why it works. And number 17 is so powerful at reducing airborne cortisol triggers that NASA identified it as one of the top air purifying plants on Earth, and it grows in almost total darkness. Make sure you hit that subscribe button because we post new videos every week connecting ancient wisdom about plants and the natural world with the science that's finally catching up. Let's get into it. Here are 20 plants that bring calm energy into your home, ranked from deeply soothing to absolutely transformative. Plant 1. Lavender, the scent of 1,000 years of sleep. Let's start with the plant that arguably has the longest unbroken relationship with human peace of mind. Lavender, Lavandula angustifolia. The Romans bathed in it. Elizabethan households stuffed it into pillows and tucked it behind bed frames. Medieval monasteries cultivated entire fields of it, not to sell, but to breathe. Here's what most people don't know about lavender. The calming effect is not folklore, it is measurable. Studies published in peer-reviewed journals have shown that inhaling lavender essential oil reduces anxiety markers, lowers heart rate, and increases slow-wave sleep, the deepest, most restorative phase of sleep. One compound in lavender, linalool, directly interacts with GABA receptors in the brain, the same receptors that anti-anxiety medications target. Nature built this, long before any pharmaceutical company existed. The traditional use was elegant in its simplicity. Place a potted lavender plant on a windowsill near your bed. As the evening air cools, the plant naturally releases more of its aromatic compounds. You breathe them in. Your nervous system downshifts. Sleep comes. Place your lavender where it gets at least 4 hours of direct light, and let it dry out slightly between waterings. This is a plant that rewards a little neglect, but what it gives back, in calm, in scent, in sheer atmospheric quiet, is extraordinary. Think of lavender not as a plant, but as a daily prescription you never have to fill. Plant 2. Peace lily. Here is where we start to encounter the plants that quietly defy what we think we know. The peace lily, Spathiphyllum wallacei, is one of the very few houseplants that thrives in low to no direct sunlight. And that is precisely what makes it so significant. NASA's famous clean air study, and yes, NASA really did study houseplants, identified the peace lily as one of the top performers at removing toxic, airborne compounds including benzene, formaldehyde, and trichloroethylene from indoor air. These are not exotic pollutants from chemical factories. They are off-gassing from furniture, paint, carpets, and cleaning products inside the average home right now, while you sit and wonder why you feel slightly uneasy. The peace lily absorbs these compounds through its leaves and roots, neutralizing them through microbial activity in its soil. In many South American and Southeast Asian traditions, this plant has long been associated with clearing negative energy from a space. The science gives that intuition a mechanism. When you reduce the invisible chemical burden on your nervous system, you feel lighter. You feel calmer. That's not mystical, that's biology. Place a peace lily in your bedroom or any room with poor ventilation. Water it once a week. Watch its leaves. When they droop slightly, it wants water. When it blooms with its elegant white flowers, it is telling you the air is clean. This plant is one of the most patient, faithful guardians your home can have. Plant 3. Jasmine, the flower that rewires anxiety. Some plants give off gentle energy. Jasmine delivers. Jasminum officinale. This is the plant that ancient Indian cultures called the Queen of the Night, and they placed it outside bedroom windows so that sleeping inhabitants would drift off, breathing its fragrance on the evening air. Modern research at Ruhr University in Germany found that jasmine's scent, specifically the compound methyl jasminate, is as effective as Valium at calming anxiety, without the side effects, without the dependency, without a prescription. The researchers were so surprised by the results they described them as incredible. The scent of jasmine acts on the same GABA neurotransmitter system that pharmaceutical sedatives do, but gently, naturally, the way the plant has always intended. In Ayurvedic tradition, jasmine is associated with the heart chakra, with the release of emotional tension held in the chest. You don't have to believe in energy centers to appreciate that there is something real happening here. People who live near jasmine, who work in its presence, who sleep near an open window when it blooms, consistently report lower stress, better mood, and more peaceful sleep. Ancient healers didn't wait for a clinical trial to confirm what they observed. They just used the plant, placed jasmine near a south-facing window indoors, or on a porch or balcony where the evening air can carry its fragrance inward. This is a plant you want close to where you rest. And once you experience a night of sleep in a room that smells of jasmine, you will understand why an entire civilization built their bedtime rituals around it. Plant 4. Aloe Vera, the silent air corrector. Most people know aloe for sunburns. Aloe Vera is one of the most storied healing plants in human history. The Egyptians called it the plant of immortality and used it both medically and in burial rites. It appeared in ancient Chinese, Indian, and Greek medicine, and for all of recorded history, it has lived inside human dwellings, not just as a first aid kit, but as a living presence believed to guard the health of a home. Here's what makes aloe extraordinary in the context of calm energy. It is one of the few plants that performs crassulacean acid metabolism, or CAM photosynthesis. In plain language, unlike most plants, aloe releases oxygen at night rather than during the day. While you sleep, it is exhaling, purifying, replenishing the oxygen in your bedroom during the exact hours when you need it most. NASA confirmed aloe among its top plants for removing formaldehyde and benzene from indoor air. But the practical gift is this: aloe is almost impossible to kill, requires almost no water, and works without any effort from you. It is calming your air while you sleep, requiring nothing in return except a bright windowsill and a drink of water once every 2 weeks. Place one on your bedroom windowsill. Place another on your kitchen counter. Let it do what it has done inside human homes for 5,000 years. The Egyptians knew something. The science just took a while to catch up. Plant 5. Valerian, the plant that taught us sedatives. Before anyone synthesized a sleeping pill, there was valerian. Valeriana officinalis. Its roots have been used as a sleep aid for at least 2,000 years. Ancient Greek and Roman physicians prescribed it for insomnia and anxiety. Medieval Europeans called it all-heal and sewed it into mattresses. During World War II, it was used to treat soldiers suffering from shell shock, from what we would now recognize as acute anxiety and PTSD. The mechanism is now understood. Valerian root contains isovaleric acid and a group of compounds called valopotriates that interact with GABA, receptors and serotonin pathways in the brain, promoting a state of neurological calm. Multiple clinical trials have confirmed it reduces the time it takes to fall asleep and improves sleep quality without the grogginess of pharmaceutical sedatives. But here is what almost nobody talks about. A living valerian plant in bloom produces these same aromatic compounds from its flowers. In a small room, the subtle ambient release of valerian's compounds creates an atmosphere that gently encourages your nervous system to settle. This is exactly the mechanism ancient healers were working with when they hung valerian bundles in sleeping quarters. Valerian grows enthusiastically in a sunny spot. Give it a large pot, water it regularly, and let it bloom. Then sit near it in the evenings. Let the air do its work. 2,000 years of human testimony, followed by modern clinical evidence, is not a small endorsement. This is one of the most proven calming plants on Earth. Plant 6, Bamboo Palm, the breath of the tropics. There is a reason that every depiction of paradise, every image of effortless peace and natural abundance features palms. Chamidoria seyfriesi, the bamboo palm, carries that same ineffable quality of tropical ease indoors, and it does more than look serene. It creates serenity chemically. Among NASA's top-ranked air purifying plants, the bamboo palm excels particularly at removing formaldehyde, one of the most common and least discussed indoor pollutants found in pressed wood furniture, glues, and textiles in virtually every modern home. Formaldehyde at low chronic levels causes headaches, fatigue, irritability, and difficulty concentrating, symptoms that most people attribute to stress or poor sleep or just how they are. But sometimes the room is making you feel that way. In traditional feng shui practice, the bamboo palm is placed in spaces to invite flowing, gentle energy, the kind associated with water, with movement, with ease rather than friction. The visual softness of its arching fronds genuinely affects perception. Interior design research confirms that the presence of plants with soft, flowing forms reduces perceived stress and slows subjective time. You feel less rushed, less pressured, more capable of rest. Place a bamboo palm in your living room or home office, wherever you spend hours in concentration or quiet time. Give it indirect bright light, keep its soil lightly moist, and let it do what tropical plants do naturally. Make you feel like you've stepped somewhere easier. Plant 7, Rosemary. Rosemary has lived at the intersection of cooking, medicine, and ritual for longer than we can fully trace. The ancient Greeks wore rosemary garlands during examinations, believing it sharpened the mind. Elizabethan mourners carried it at funerals, tucking sprigs into the hands of the dead. It was planted at the entrances to homes to cleanse the air of illness and misfortune. Modern neuroscience has given us the mechanism. The aromatic compounds in rosemary, primarily 1,8-cineol, when inhaled, cross the blood-brain barrier and inhibit the breakdown of acetylcholine, a neurotransmitter critical to memory, focus, and cognitive clarity. A study from Northumbria University found that people working in a room diffused with rosemary essential oil performed significantly better on memory tasks. But a living rosemary plant accomplishes this continuously, at low, ambient levels, in the background of your daily life. There is also the question of what calm focus feels like versus anxious fog. When your mind is clear, when you can think without friction, something relaxes. Tension held in the shoulders from confusion and mental effort begins to release. Rosemary's gift is not sedation, it is clarity, and clarity is its own form of calm. Place rosemary in a sun-drenched kitchen window. Brush its leaves as you pass and breathe the released oils. Cook with it regularly and fill your home with its warm, woody scent. This is a plant that has walked alongside human civilization for millennia, and every generation that lived closely with it understood something about the texture of a peaceful mind. Plant 8, Moss, the ancient mind slower. Here is the one I promised you. The plant that meditation garden designers in Japan have deliberately cultivated for over 1,000 years. Walk into any traditional Zen garden, any sacred temple courtyard in Kyoto, and the ground is carpeted with it. Not grass, not gravel, moss. The monks who designed these spaces knew what they were doing, even if they couldn't articulate the neuroscience. The visual texture of moss, its dense, uniform, softly irregular surface, is what researchers studying biophilic design call a fractal pattern. Fractal patterns, which repeat at multiple scales and appear throughout nature, have been shown in multiple studies to reduce physiological stress responses by up to 60% simply through visual exposure. Your brain recognizes fractal patterns as natural and safe at a deep evolutionary level. It downshifts. The stress hormones ease. The vigilance relaxes. Moss also does something no other houseplant does quite as efficiently. It regulates humidity. A living moss wall or terrarium absorbs excess moisture and slowly releases it, maintaining the 40 to 60% relative humidity that human physiology finds most comfortable, and that most modern homes, with their climate control and sealed windows, dramatically fail to achieve. Chronic low humidity is associated with poor sleep, dry airways, and increased susceptibility to airborne viruses. Create a living moss wall on a single panel in your bedroom or meditation space. Build a moss terrarium for your desk. The maintenance is minimal. Moss simply needs indirect light and occasional misting, but its effect on the energy of a space is profound, ancient, and now scientifically validated. 1,000 years of Japanese monks cannot be wrong. Plant 9. Snake plant, the nighttime guardian. The snake plant, also called mother-in-law's tongue, though nothing about its presence in a room is sharp or unwelcoming. In West African traditions, particularly in Yoruba culture, the snake plant is associated with Ogun, the Orisha of protection, and is kept near entrances to ward off negative energy and illness. In China, it was traditionally placed near the front door, so the 8 virtues it symbolizes: prosperity, beauty, long life, intelligence, health, art, strength, and poetry could enter the home freely. But here is what grounds all of that symbolism in physical reality. The snake plant, like aloe, performs CAM photosynthesis, releasing oxygen at night. It is one of the most effective plants on record at removing formaldehyde, benzene, xylene, and nitrogen oxide from indoor air, all compounds present in your home's paint, furniture, and cleaning products. And it does this in conditions where most plants would die. Low light, irregular watering, temperature fluctuations. The snake plant thrives on neglect. Place one in your bedroom, close to where you sleep. If you have never experienced the subtle difference of waking in a room where a living plant has been breathing oxygen all night, you owe it to yourself to try it. Something shifts. The air feels slightly different, slightly cleaner. Your body notices, even when your conscious mind doesn't. This is a plant for people who want all the benefits of living greenery without the commitment. And for what it gives back, the investment is almost insultingly small. Plant 10. Passionflower, the vine that calms what nothing else reaches. This climbing vine, with its extraordinary, intricate blooms, was used by Native American tribes across the southeastern United States for generations as a sedative, an anxiety remedy, and a treatment for what we would now call nervous exhaustion. When Spanish missionaries encountered it, they saw in its complex flower a symbol of the crucifixion and named it the Passion Flower. Both traditions recognized something extraordinary in this plant's presence. Modern pharmacology has confirmed what both traditions observed. Passionflower contains compounds, including flavonoids and harmane alkaloids, that interact with GABA receptors and serotonin systems in the brain. Clinical studies have found passionflower extract comparable to prescription medications for generalized anxiety disorder, with dramatically fewer side effects. One study found it as effective as oxazepam, a pharmaceutical anxiolytic, at reducing anxiety symptoms. And a living passionflower vine in bloom does not simply sit there. It releases subtle volatile compounds, and its extraordinary visual complexity, those spiraling tendrils, those concentric rings of purple and white, produces the same fractal pattern, calming effect as moss, but with the added drama of one of nature's most architecturally stunning flowers. Grow Passionflower in a large pot near a trellis or wall it can climb. Give it full sun and regular water. Let it climb your fence, your pergola, your porch. Watch what happens to the quality of the silence in the spaces it inhabits. This is not a plant that blends into the background. It commands calm, it insists on it. Plant 11, Spider Plant, the anxious home's best friend. Here is a plant that has spent decades being dismissed as a cliché of suburban windowsills, a beginner's plant, nothing special. That dismissal is a costly mistake. NASA's Clean Air study showed the spider plant removing up to 95% of formaldehyde from a sealed chamber in 24 hours. That is not a modest number. That is extraordinary remediation performed by a plant that costs $3 at any garden center and can be propagated infinitely from its own runners. One plant becomes 10 plants, which become 100 plants, all working silently throughout your home. In traditional Chinese household practice, spider plants were kept to absorb stale or stagnant energy and encourage the free flow of vitality through a space. The science of what they actually absorb, formaldehyde, carbon monoxide, xylene, makes that traditional description feel remarkably precise. What they were calling stagnant energy was, in practical terms, an indoor air environment heavy with invisible chemical pollution. Here is the profound practical lesson of the spider plant. You do not need to spend money on air purifiers. You do not need expensive filtration systems. You need living plants, plural, distributed throughout your home, doing what they have always done: cleaning, breathing, working. Hang spider plants in baskets near windows in every room you use regularly. Let their graceful arching leaves and cascading babies fill corners that feel heavy or still. This is the plant that proves you don't need exotic or expensive to achieve something genuinely powerful. Plant 12, Chamomile, the golden calm. Most people think of chamomile as a tea. They have no idea they are thinking too small. Ancient Egyptians dedicated this plant to Ra, the sun god, considering it sacred above all other herbs. Anglo-Saxon healers called it Mathan and listed it among their 9 sacred herbs. Medieval physicians used it for everything, from fevers to anxiety, to sleeplessness, to grief. The apigenin in chamomile, its primary active compound, binds to benzodiazepine receptors in the brain, the same receptors that respond to Valium. Clinical trials have shown chamomile supplementation significantly reduces generalized anxiety disorder symptoms over a period of weeks, with benefits that persist after stopping supplementation, something no pharmaceutical sedative can claim. But grow chamomile in a pot on your windowsill, and something else happens. The plant in bloom emits a warm apple honey fragrance that fills the surrounding air with exactly those volatile calming compounds. Ancient healers were not making tea for the health benefits and then discarding the living plant. They were living alongside chamomile, breathing its air, drinking its medicine, and sitting in its presence. The effects compound. Place potted chamomile on a south-facing kitchen windowsill or on your dining table during summer. Harvest the flowers when they open, dry them for tea, and let new buds continue blooming. The ritual of tending this plant, the fragrance it releases, the golden calm of its sun-like flowers, these are not small things. This is the full conversation between a human being and a healing plant that the ancient Egyptians understood and that we have reduced to a tea bag. Plant 13, Holy Basil or Tulsi, sacred calm. In India, there is no home without Tulsi. The plant is considered the earthly manifestation of the goddess Lakshmi and is tended daily, prayed over, and given offerings. This is not superstition. This is a culture that understood the power of a plant so completely that they encoded its care into their most sacred practices to ensure it would never be neglected. Tulsi, called holy basil in the West, is classified as an adaptogen, a plant that helps the body adapt to and recover from stress at the physiological level. Research shows it reduces cortisol, the primary stress hormone. It normalizes blood sugar disruptions caused by stress. It reduces inflammation triggered by chronic anxiety. It modulates the HPA axis, the hormonal system that governs your body's entire stress response. In practical terms, living near a Tulsi plant and using it regularly in teas and cooking means your body's stress system is being gently, continuously recalibrated. The ancient Indian practice of placing Tulsi at the center of the household courtyard, where family members would pass it many times a day, brushing its leaves and breathing its scent, was delivering a continuous microdose of adaptogenic aromatherapy to every member of the household. Place Tulsi in a prominent, central location in your home, your kitchen, your front entry, your main living space. Tend it with attention. Harvest its leaves regularly for tea. Learn to see it the way 1 billion people across 1,000 years have seen it. Not as a plant, but as a living protector of the peace of your home. Plant 14. English Ivy, the mold killer. Hedera helix. Here is a plant with a reputation problem. English ivy gets dismissed as aggressive, invasive, hard to manage. Outdoors, some of that is true. Indoors, it is one of the most powerful living air purifiers you can own, and one of the most important plants for anyone who suffers from allergies, asthma, or the kind of chronic low-grade inflammation that leaves you feeling perpetually unwell. The American College of Allergy, Asthma, and Immunology published a study showing English ivy removed 78% of airborne mold in a single room within 12 hours. 78% in 12 hours. Mold spores are among the primary triggers of respiratory inflammation, sleep disruption, brain fog, and mood dysregulation. They are present in almost every home, and most people have no idea they're breathing them. Himalayan traditions placed ivy family plants in healing rooms, not because they understood mold counts, but because they observed that people recovered faster in spaces where these plants grew. The observation preceded the mechanism by centuries. The mechanism has now been identified. Hang English ivy in your bathroom, the room with the highest mold potential in any home. Place it in your basement if you have one. Keep it in any room where moisture accumulates. Water it moderately, give it indirect light, and let it work. This is a plant that, quite literally, cleans the biological burden from your air, and in doing so, cleans the cognitive and emotional burden from your mind. Plant 15. Lemon balm, the forgotten medicine. Melissa officinalis. This gentle, lemon-scented herb in the mint family has been used to treat anxiety, insomnia, and nervous tension for over 2,000 years. Paracelsus, the Renaissance physician, called it the elixir of life. Thomas Jefferson grew it at Monticello. Benedictine monks included it in Carmelite water, a remedy they produced and sold for centuries as a treatment for headaches and nervous disorders. Clinical research on lemon balm is extensive and consistent. Multiple trials have shown it significantly reduces anxiety and insomnia, improves mood, and enhances cognitive performance under stress, with a safety profile so clean that it has been studied in children. The mechanism involves rosmarinic acid, which inhibits the enzyme that breaks down GABA, allowing more of your brain's natural calming signal to remain active. It is, in effect, a gentle brake on the accelerator of anxiety. A lemon balm plant in a pot releases these compounds continuously into the surrounding air. In enclosed spaces, the aromatic release is significant enough to be experienced as a gentle shift in the atmosphere, a warmth, a lightness, a slight loosening of whatever tension you walked in carrying. Place lemon balm in your home office, on your desk, or beside your reading chair. Brush the leaves as you sit down to work. Add fresh leaves to your water throughout the day. 2,000 years of physicians, monks, and presidents grew this plant for a reason. The reason is simple. It works. Plant 16. Fern, the living humidifier. The Boston fern. Before we talk about what it does, consider what ancient forests communicated to our ancestors: safety, shelter, water nearby, life. Ferns are among the oldest plant families on Earth. They predate flowering plants by hundreds of millions of years. Our evolutionary memory recognizes them as a signal of abundance and safety in a way that we no longer consciously process, but that operates below the level of thought. There is a measurable physiological response to the presence of lush green fern fronds. Heart rate decreases, blood pressure drops slightly, skin conductance, a measure of nervous system arousal, reduces. This is not a placebo. This is evolutionary neuroscience. We feel safer in green, lush, fern-filled spaces because our ancient ancestors were safer there. But ferns also perform an extraordinary practical function. They are among the most efficient natural humidifiers available. A large Boston fern can transpire up to a liter of water per day into the surrounding air. In winter, when heating systems reduce indoor humidity to desert-like levels that cause dry skin, irritated airways, and disrupted sleep, a cluster of ferns near your living space quietly counteracts that dryness without electricity, without maintenance, and without noise. Hang Boston ferns in baskets in your living room and bedroom. Water them frequently. They do not tolerate dryness, and mist their fronds on dry days. Accept that they will drop some fronds and reward you with lush new growth. This is a plant that asks for attention and returns it manyfold, in green beauty, in clean moist air, and in the oldest, deepest signal of calm that exists in human neurobiology. Plant 17. Golden Pothos, the Indestructible Purifier. Epipremnum aureum. The dark room specialist I mentioned at the beginning. Golden Pothos is the plant that appeared on NASA's list of top air purifying plants, and then proceeded to grow in the artificial lighting of space station research as if nothing extraordinary was happening. Because for a golden pothos, nothing extraordinary is happening. It grows in almost any light. It tolerates any level of neglect. It trails beautifully from shelves and hangs elegantly in doorways. And the entire time, it is removing benzene, formaldehyde, xylene, carbon monoxide, and toluene from your air, the invisible chemical cocktail that your furniture, paint, carpets, and cleaning products are producing in your home every single day. In Southeast Asian households, pothos has long been kept near the front door as a plant of protection and welcome, a living filter between the energy of the outside world and the peace of the inner home. You do not have to engage in that spiritual framing to appreciate its practical logic. The first room air enters when you open the door, benefits from whatever filtration exists at the threshold. A golden pothos, stationed near your entrance, is meeting contaminated air before it disperses through your home. Place golden pothos everywhere, on top of your refrigerator, on a high bookshelf where its vines can cascade, on the windowsill of your most used room. No other plant gives you this combination of air purification, beauty, resilience, and effortlessness. This is the plant for every home, every person, every skill level. And the calm it creates is real, measurable, in what it removes from the air you breathe every waking hour of your life. Plant 18. Gardenia, the sleep garden. Gardenia jasminoides. If jasmine is the queen of the night, Gardenia is its empress. The fragrance of Gardenia in bloom is one of the most complex, layered, and emotionally resonant scents in the plant kingdom, and it has been used deliberately in sleep and healing spaces for centuries across East Asian, South Asian, and Mediterranean cultures. Here is what makes Gardenia remarkable beyond its beauty. German researchers studying the effects of Gardenia fragrance on the nervous system found that the compound gardiol interacts with GABA receptors with a potency comparable to pharmaceutical sedatives. The researchers concluded, in their own words, that Gardenia may represent a natural alternative to sleeping pills. Their study was published in the Journal of Biological Chemistry. This was not aromatherapy enthusiasts making claims. This was pharmacological research, published in a peer-reviewed scientific journal. Ancient practitioners didn't need the journal. They placed gardenias in sleeping courtyards and healing rooms and observed the results, that people slept more deeply, woke more peacefully, and recovered from illness more quickly in spaces where gardenias bloomed. Gardenia requires more care than some of the plants on this list. It wants bright, indirect light, consistent humidity, and slightly acidic soil. But for the person willing to give it that attention, Gardenia returns something profound. A bedroom environment that actively, pharmacologically, encourages your nervous system into the deepest sleep it is capable of producing. That is not a small return. That is one of the most significant gifts a plant can give a human being. Plant 19. Chrysanthemum, the ancient longevity plant. Chrysanthemums have been cultivated in China for more than 3,000 years. They appear in ancient Chinese poetry as symbols of longevity, endurance, and the beauty that persists after summer has passed. Confucius wrote about them. Traditional Chinese medicine incorporated them extensively for liver health, inflammation, and what was described as calming the spirit. In Japanese culture, the chrysanthemum is the symbol of the imperial family, the flower that represents the sun itself. This cultural reverence is not aesthetic coincidence. Chrysanthemums are among the most effective flowering plants at removing ammonia, one of the least discussed but most physiologically disruptive indoor air pollutants, produced by cleaning products, human waste, and some building materials. Ammonia at low levels causes headache, irritability, and subtle cognitive impairment. Most people in homes with inadequate ventilation are breathing low-level ammonia and wondering why they feel vaguely uneasy or mentally sluggish. A chrysanthemum in your bathroom or near a frequently cleaned area is doing active remediation, converting that ammonia into harmless compounds while offering you, in return, blooms that have symbolized peace and endurance to some of the most sophisticated civilizations in human history. Place chrysanthemums in any room where cleaning products are used or stored. Tend them well during their bloom period, then allow them to rest. They are one of the most reliable, long-lived flowering houseplants available, and their presence in a space carries the weight of 3,000 years of human understanding that some plants are not just beautiful, they are necessary. Plant 20. Sacred Fig, the tree that changes everything. And here we are, number 20. The plant I saved for last. The one that does not just change the energy of a room, but has, throughout human history, been understood to change the energy of an entire life. Ficus religiosa, the sacred fig, the Bodhi tree. It is under this tree that Siddhartha Gautama sat for 49 days and attained enlightenment. It is venerated across Hindu, Buddhist, and Jain traditions. Ancient texts describe it as the tree of knowledge, of immortality, of the connection between earth and sky. Temples throughout India and Southeast Asia are built around sacred fig trees that have stood for hundreds of years, and the space beneath their canopy is understood, in those traditions, to be a place where the mind becomes uniquely still. Here is what modern science has found. Ficus religiosa releases significant quantities of oxygen, far more than most indoor plants, and has been documented to produce isoprene and other volatile organic compounds that may have direct anti-anxiety effects when inhaled over time. Studies on tree canopy environments have consistently shown that spending time beneath the canopy of large leafy trees reduces cortisol, lowers blood pressure, decreases amygdala activation, and induces a state of what researchers are now calling awe. a cognitive state associated with reduced self-focus, reduced rumination, and increased feelings of peace and connection. You cannot fit a sacred fig temple in your living room, but you can grow one in a large pot near your most used window. Given bright, indirect light, consistent water, and space to expand, the sacred fig will grow into something that commands the energy of any room it inhabits. Its massive, heart-shaped leaves create a canopy effect indoors. Its presence, the sheer living scale of it, does something to the quality of silence in a space that smaller plants cannot replicate. This is a plant that has been changing the energy of human environments for 3,000 years. It has been the site of enlightenment, of prayer, of healing, of contemplation. You are not going to achieve enlightenment by growing one in your living room, but you might notice that your living room becomes a place you return to willingly, a place where the noise of the day falls away, a place that feels, without your quite knowing why, like somewhere you are allowed to rest. And that is the point. That has always been the point. If you've stayed with me through all 20 of these plants, you now understand something that most people moving through their lives have completely forgotten. Your home is not just a container, it is a living environment, and living environments respond to what lives in them. Every culture that has ever built a civilization has understood that plants belong inside human spaces, not as decoration, not as status symbols, as partners, as medicine, as the quiet, patient, biological intelligence that has been working in partnership with human well-being for as long as human beings have existed. The anxious home, the sleepless bedroom, the office where creativity dies, these are not inevitable. They are the result of removing the living from our living spaces and expecting to feel well anyway. The solution is not complicated. The solution is growing. Start with one plant from this list. One plant on one windowsill. Let it teach you what calm air feels like. What it feels like to wake in a room where something living has been breathing oxygen all night. What it feels like to sit near a jasmine in bloom, or to brush rosemary and breathe the clarity it releases. Then let that one plant become 5. Let 5 become 20. Build a home that breathes back. If this video changed the way you see the space you live in, smash that like button so this knowledge can reach more people who need it. Drop a comment below and tell me, which plant are you bringing into your home first? Are you Team Lavender and Gardenia, Team NASA air purifiers, or Team Sacred and Ancient? I read every single comment, and I love hearing how your spaces are changing. And if you haven't subscribed to Home Service, there has never been a better time. We post every week, ancient wisdom, modern science, practical living. Hit that subscribe button and ring the bell, because the most powerful changes you will ever make to your health, your sleep, and the quality of your daily life do not require a pharmacy. Sometimes they just require soil, water, light, and the willingness to let something living share your space. We'll see you in the next one.